Okay, so last time we talked about this concept, which is very relevant for our work of freeing ourselves from suffering, unnecessary suffering, and to find inner peace and becoming more conscious of our patterns, of our limiting beliefs. So in this type of work, very important, principle or concept is this of deficiency story. Deficiency story, and this deficiency story, it's a set of limiting beliefs that we accumulated from childhood. We are not bad that we developed them. We had no choice. We're innocent. It was like the child in us, like 3-year-old or 5-year-old, or due to the environment, the child in us drew some conclusions, maybe even without thoughts, subconsciously, unconsciously, that when the child in us, especially if we had harsh, critical, negative, violent, neglect, stuff like that, abuse, instead of realizing, hey, these people are messed up, we don't have this information, so we took it about us, that maybe it's my fault or something wrong with me, and due to how we were treated, we started to have this, deficiency story, and then the problem is more than just a story. It's a sense of oneself, like the deficiency self, deficiency identity. So it's not like, oh, it's me, I'm okay, and I have this story. It's like, this story is me. I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy, I'm broken, I'm no good, scum. And kind of everybody has this to various degrees. The more negative, the more unloving or unstable the first few years, the more intense or acute these beliefs are. And the more intense they are, the thing is that it's not just a belief, it's not just a thought. They are accompanied by feelings in the body, and so this is where the feeling body. So in the mental, there's the negative story, and in the somatic experience in our body, we feel like shit. Because that's how it works actually. Like if we have negative thoughts, even in regular psychology, there's the thought-feeling loop, and you have negative thoughts, then I'm unlovable, or it's my fault, I'm alone in the universe, then we automatically have negative feelings, and then they reinforce each other, and then we have negative feelings, and then as maybe there's some more thoughts. So, and actually it's interesting, like various teachings talk about this, including in the law of attraction and Abraham Hicks. That is true, is that we have bad feelings, usually negative feelings, when we believe something that is not true. Basically, when our mind starts to play some tape which is not aligned with the truth of reality, then we feel bad. This is not all across the board. I mean, of course, somebody tricks us or lies us in the face or slaps you, or somebody steals your car, or there's some circumstantial stuff which is very legitimate to feel pissed. Yeah, so I'm not talking about that. But whenever we have these mysterious feelings, it's more like a sense of separation feelings, not circumstantial, but more like chronic. So when we believe something is not true, we feel bad. And when we believe something, when that's why when we have positive affirmation, although we talked last time, although I'm not very fond, and I don't go and suggest positive affirmations, because for various reasons, we talked last time, and I'll send you the video. However, they are helpful. And one reason is that if you kind of listen to positive affirmation or to or you give them to yourself, but especially if you listen. And I send on the homework, actually, I send this this wonderful 101 power thoughts from Louise Hay. I'm really going off topic now. But that's where we are. You know, we are flying in the galaxy. So we listen to that, especially if you listen to somebody saying them. Actually, they are more effective. And then it feels like bomb. It's like, and then it starts to feel good. Sooner or later, it feels good. Why? Actually, because what she says is true. Of course, the subconscious might reject it. Will be like, "Oh man, come on, man, this is bullshit." But usually, if we let them in a little bit, or if we put them, we lie down, we have a nap, it feels good. One reason why actually her positive affirmations are good and useful, and actually I had some time in my life some years ago where I was very anxious and stressed about life and overwhelmed, and the usual methods with awareness or whatever, it worked, but not, it was hard. So I would put this, I would have a nap and put this, or go to sleep and put this, and it was really helpful. But one reason why they are helpful is that actually there is her voice, and actually she went through a lot of shit. Actually, she had a lot of abuse, a lot of nasty stuff that happened due to patriarchy and whatever trauma, and she had a lot of shit from men. Anyway, so she went through a lot of trauma and all kind of stuff, and she managed to heal herself and transcend it. And when she says those things, she talks from being. It's not some kind of book and saying nice things to make a book. So it's the signature of her own conviction of the truth. So that's why it comes in and is like, yeah. So they are more effective than trying to put on a mirror, "I'm beautiful, you can do anything you want." Those may not work so well, because right away I feel the subconscious will reject them. Anyway, so this was last week about the deficiency, limiting beliefs, core negative image. Usually these ones are pretty subconscious. Most people are not aware of them. Most people, they are not aware of them. It's not in the forefront. And actually some type of defense mechanism of our psychic to not be all the time with those. So what I wanted to introduce this week is this topic, and these are all not theoretical. This is like to observing within ourselves. There are some psychological patterns. Basically, there are some patterns. Some patterns is like a recurring type of behavior, recurring type of reactivity. Something happens and I feel like that, and I think like that, and I do like that. There's some type of mechanical patterns that happen without choice, just automatically. That's what I want to introduce this topic. Usually people are more aware of this. So usually many people, we are not aware of our limiting core negative image unless we already done some focused investigation, but we are pretty aware of our patterns. So the problematic psychological patterns that, there are patterns that are helpful. The fact that we drive without thinking, and we can tie our shoes, and we can cook and do all kind of things. So these are also patterns of automatic, way of being. But what's more problematic is this psychological patterns that create suffering for ourselves or others. And so to make it more practical, so let's say pattern of, let's say, committing and saying yes all the time to people asking us to do stuff and things like that. Pattern of recurring behavior, like let's say fear of commitment is another thing, and not just fear of commitment in relationship, but like there are a lot of people that like they want to embark upon something, but like I don't know because then I have to do this and that. It's like fear of going fully into something. There is the so-called self-sabotage. Everything goes very well, and then finally it's about to happen, and then bam, something mysteriously keeps happening that so then we don't kind of finally succeed or get something good. Lying, lying, uh, lying to others, uh, hiding, hiding truth from others. It's a pattern. Uh, let's say talking all the time about oneself. All the time, oh, me all the time. You guys met people all the time. You talk to them, they're like, yeah, but me, and I did this, and so attention-seeking pattern. Don't trust them, not trusting anybody, not trusting, not always. When will the shoe drop? How's it called? When will the next shoe drop? Or catastrophizing. So these are like habits of either feeling or reacting or many. So there are many, and okay, so that's what I want to shine some more light on this. And part of our work here is to become aware of our patterns, especially the problematic ones. We all have some, not endless. It's like two or three main ones, two or three, four main ones that manifest in many aspects of our life. Now, there is a strong correlation between these patterns and the deficiency story, and then what happened, the wound. So the good news is that it's easier to spot patterns. I mean, it's hard to eradicate them. I mean, it is possible, but it is easy. We know them. Yeah, I have this, I have that. Yeah, So theory behind it, from my experience. So in the formation of pattern is like they say we are the golden child, everything is good. Then there's shit happening or absence of love, and then the child becomes now a wounded child. Let's say it's from the golden, free, open. Now there's like a arrow got in or something. Yeah, relief starting to form slowly in the background. But what happens is that the child, in its resiliency, in its basically extreme survivalism and adaptation of our soul, the child adapts to the environment. So instead of being due to the input and all that, and studying what's happening, whenever this mommy says this or mommy doesn't say this, or if I'm like this, I get less beating, or I finally daddy looks at me when I'm like this, or if I'm like that, I will avoid this or make, so we adapt so then we develop this strategic child, it's called. So there's a golden, spontaneous, free child, and there's the wounded child, and there's a strategic child, meaning that we learn how to be in order to avoid unpleasantness, to avoid hurt, or to get love or attention. So based on the configuration of the child, everybody has a certain, comes here with some configuration, which is fine, it's like different, like a Chihuahua and a Labrador and a German Shepherd. There's a configuration comes from God like that. The same human types, whatever astrology, whatever, there's some configuration, and it's all great. But based on environment and how to better survive. We go into this. And these are practiced. We keep doing them, and because they work, usually they work, and actually this is the beginning of these patterns. Basically, there are some adaptations that the child developed in order to keep itself safe or to make it easier in a unnatural world, let's say. And then what happens is that we grow up, we are teenagers, and these patterns, they kind of develop, they get more developed, and there's more intelligence in the system, so become more sophisticated. Also, this forms the future, what is called false personality. In the fourth way, they call it like false personality, which is basically at the beginning, we come just with the essence, what we are here with, but then we adapt and imitation and all that, we become in a different way. So we are different than how we are supposed to be. We are kind of different, and this is like a adaptative mask. However, the mask becomes very thick, or the armor becomes very thick, and it's a whole identity in itself. It's like me, this is me. So basically the identity now is in the false personality or the ego, false personality or ego. And we are no longer living according to our natural configuration, and we are not aware of what we are anyway as presence and the soul. Then we are this character. And so, but some of these adaptative things, they were useful as a child, and also they were created by a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, but then they are outdated, and then we have a lot of problems later in work and relationships and all that. Like, yeah, like lying and hiding. I had this pattern of lying and hiding, which was become very good at it, you know. And so this is the way in order to be safe, you know, to avoid, to feel safe, and to get what I want, and to avoid shit. So there's a correlation with the pattern, between the pattern and the belief. Basically, when we start to judge the pattern, when we judge it and moralize it and make it wrong, and then actually we don't transform it. It's more like important to see what is behind it. So what was behind it is that, you know, the wound is more like, let's say, it's not safe to be real. It's not safe to be real, or vulnerability being taken advantage of, or it's not safe to be open. So then it's safe to not be open, like guarded and all that. Other pattern of good boy, you know, good boy or good girl, or being like a mascot, being very funny and being very sweet, because then everybody likes us and then they're not upset with us, you know. So there's a correlation between the actual pattern and the deficiency story. Okay, so now what to do? So what to do, the idea is to, so first of all, what the idea is to become more aware of our patterns. So to become like a scientist, studying, researching, and observing our patterns, but like with a scientific point of view, like without judging. That's very important. Like when we judge some pattern, we don't want it, we judge it, we are upset with it, we are maintaining it, you know, we are maintaining it, and then it doesn't work. Basically, there's not enough investigation. We don't go to the root of it. We don't explore it. We judge it and try to get rid of it. This, we are endless battle with the ego, fighting the ego, and doesn't work. So it's important to develop this attitude of like you're observing an interesting, curious stranger. And this is quite advanced, because often we are like, man, what's wrong with me, man? I've done this again. How can I be so fucked up? Now it depends on the pattern. Some patterns are more trickier and harder to work with because it's good in society, you know, and they call it a mechanical goodness, or like being helpful all the time and never saying no. And then you're like, oh, this is a nice guy, you know, it's all that. Or pattern of overworking and overcommitting, you know, it's very good with the society and protest with, you know, the American, especially here, the work, overworking, work addiction. And the other patterns who are more like moralized, you know, like you know, cheating or lying, hiding, or other patterns, different things that they are more moralized. So whatever the pattern is, the idea is to observe it non-judgmentally. Yeah, to observe it non-judgmentally, and then to try to study it. You know, we can study in the moment. The idea is to catch it as the moment we become more aware, to catch it as it happens, and then or we can study it after it happened. You know, it's like autopsy. It's totally, you can gain a lot from, let's say we were hijacked by the pattern, we fell asleep with it, and then later we're like, oh man, this happened again. You can totally go back and observe what happened, bring awareness. Yeah, so studying, but studying from awareness, not studying the mind. So, and then the more we study it, the more we know when it comes up. There's the stimulus that when this happens, this pattern comes. So it becomes obvious that this is not me. I am the observer of this, and this happens from time to time. And so we start to de-identify from it. Also, a lot of these patterns, I mean, they have power because we are unconscious of them. So they can only happen when we are asleep. So if we are able to see them either during or after, to see them more and more, it's harder. It's easier to catch them. So it's like, you know, you have like some bugs in the kitchen, you know, but when you turn on the light, they go away. So just by becoming more conscious and observing the inner world, already you are diminishing the environment where you affected their environment. And then basically there's a way to investigate them and to see what's the origin, and then in a non-judgmental way. So there are ways to unprogram them. So we are going to do right now here something. And ultimately, the more presence we have, the more ability to catch them, the more we understand deeply how this doesn't serve me now. It served me then, it doesn't serve me now. I'm grateful for you that helped me, but this is creating suffering for me or others, and see this many times, then it's easier to be freer from it. And the ultimate thing is, which is pretty obvious, is basically not to do them anymore. Because this pattern is like a neuronal pathway. And it's like my teacher Francis speaks about, like the way to free yourself from these patterns. I mean, the best way is to become really conscious, like conscious and, you know, more aware. And the particular pattern, which also all these patterns, they come, there's a sense of separate me in it. It's not like they come from a deep belief of being a separate finite consciousness, you know, alone in the world and vulnerable. And so they all these are from this belief. So the ultimate way, by diminishing this belief, a lot of these behaviors they change. But this is pretty advanced work, although that's the fastest work. But it's like you have some tractor that goes in a meadow and makes tracks. Yeah. So each time we do it again, we have like laid out more tracks onto this meadow with the tractor. So to free ourselves from the pattern is somehow find a way that we don't go with the tractor on those tracks, and then we go somewhere else. So instead of kind of lying, kind of be like, okay, and train the habits to be real, be vulnerable, and then make this habit. So, and by not treading anymore into this, then the grass grows back, and then, you know, they become a thing of the past. And it is true. I noticed myself and others that I had some very strong patterns that is just gone. I have other patterns, strong patterns that are still kind of still kicking sometimes, you know. So yeah, I think that's the idea. And if we can just identify for ourselves just one pattern, I would like that you identify one pattern for yourself. I want that you choose one, because I want to do some guided processing, and it's good if you already choose one. You know, it doesn't matter what it is, something that bothers you, something keeps recurring um, in your life. So just give you a minute to see what pops up. You don't need to tell me, you can tell me later. And I did really kind of in one sentence or in like 2 words, so very clear. So this is the item that we are investigating.
Can I go first?
We actually will, all do it. I will do a guided processing, so you keep it,
Okay.
and then we all have it, and then I will do a little process, and then you apply it to that thing. And then at the end, we are going to share about it. Okay. So what's important now is just to have something clear. Okay, this one. I'm looking at this one. All right. So now you can just let it go, and let's come back to close your eyes. You know, we use little words here and a lot of thinking, but for now, just let go of thinking and come back to the breath. Just notice your body breathing. And notice the contact between the body and the chair, the body and the earth. Really let the whole weight of your body sink onto the chair. And tuning back into the inner world, and being fully present to the now moment. And gently noticing our experience without trying to change anything or figure out, or trying to get rid of any feeling. Not, and without going into the past or the future. Relaxing the jaw, the eyelids, Also relaxing the attention. So instead of focusing into something particular, we have this more relaxed, global, panoramic view, free from any agenda. And allowing the attention to pick up some sound, some breeze, maybe some feelings in the body. Just being aware. Nothing to think about, nothing to do. Allowing everything to be just as it is. Notice that something is aware effortlessly. Tuning into this sense of our own presence. Sensing this I am, this amness, this isness. And as we are going to engage in this investigation, remember that, and you can check it now, whatever we are observing, whatever we are perceiving, that's not what we are. We are aware of sounds, of thoughts, images, and feelings. We are aware of them, but we are not a feeling, we are not a thought. We are that which is aware of them. We are the perceiver. Because a thought is not aware, a feeling is not aware. Just keeping that in your understanding that whatever will show up, we are the watcher. Okay, so while having this open, relaxed attention, welcome this pattern that you identified for yourself that we want to explore. So fully allow this thing, whatever that is, and welcome the thought of it, how it's called, and also allow any images or memories, pictures connected to it, allow them to pop up naturally. Times and times when this happened, and also notice allow and notice any feelings or emotions or any sensations anywhere in the body connected to this. Just let them be here. And allow also any thoughts, any story about it, may have some thoughts, will say something. Or, yeah. So really welcome fully anything to do with this that spontaneously arises in the screen of your awareness. Pictures, inner reactions, thoughts, memories. And it's natural if there's some unpleasant feeling or some contraction or some emotion. Really let them be here. Remember that you are that which is aware right now. Be just a detached observer without judging, without trying to change anything. Welcome also the history of this, the chronology of this. Probably it's something old. Just allow images, memories more from the past connected to this. The only thing is to observe and to not judge anything and to be honest, within our heart, seeing the facts. Yeah, so we are not engaging, we are not thinking about it, we are just observing whatever is evoked by my words. It's like you are watching on an IMAX. Welcome now also the impact of this pattern, like how does it affect you or others? How does it bring suffering? How does it undermine you in some way or your relations? And whatever shows up now, it can only be one of these things: an image, a thought, a voice in the head, or some feeling that you are aware of. So remember to stay in this position of non-judgmental observer. See also has it been modeled to you maybe? Has anybody in your family or somebody in your family had this? Maybe, maybe not, just check. Welcome and observe now. So what's in your body, bring your awareness towards your body. Just notice whatever feelings, energies are there. Whatever feeling, notice what's the core feeling. Tune into the feeling, sad, frustration, loneliness, rage, fear, whatever. Shame, guilt. And now just let's remove these labels And just really notice the actual sensation in your body, the actual cluster of sensation, free from label, maybe some tightness somewhere, some heat, some knot, and really observe it inch by inch, frame by frame. Without trying to get rid of it, without judging it, just take the burn. Remember that whatever we are aware of, this is something we observe. It's not who we really are. It's something that comes and goes. You are this presence which observes right now. Let's go back to the mind a little bit and see what's the story. What's the story you are telling yourself about it? There is some story about it, maybe some justification, or also welcome any judgments. Maybe there are judgments. Hey, what's wrong with you, man? You are messed up, or this, or how can you do this, or I'm so tired of this, or and just hear these voices, see this from awareness. Don't get lost into the voices. And see also, maybe it comes to you, what's the drive behind this? You know, this is just an adaptation. This was some way of adapting. What was the world of the child that required such an adaptation? What was happening there? And also realize how it was useful actually. Find how it was useful, how it served you. And see in which way is it connected to the deficiency story? What belief, what negative belief about ourselves or the world? What's the belief behind it? See what comes up. Don't try too hard. What function does it still do now? What's the utility behind this pattern now? What is a seeming advantage? In which way helps you or seemingly helps you? You get to protect yourself, or you get to feel like a victim, or you get to, what are you subconsciously getting? What's the juice? No judgment. We are exploring this. I know it may be a little uncomfortable, but you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Much more suffering comes out of not doing this. So at this point, whatever thoughts you have, let them, go through, and take 2 fingers, and if you can, start tapping on your forehead, on the third eye. If you can, tap on your third eye, and simply just stay present to the sensation of tapping. No more thinking, no more movie. Sense the tapping, hear the sound. And keep breathing. Notice the breath too. Notice also this inner space in which in which thoughts used to be. Now it's just space. Hear the sounds. Just this moment, just being. Now you can stop tapping and bring your awareness into your body, and notice if there's any residual unpleasantness in your body, any feeling, any sensations. Just notice and let go resisting it. If we don't want it, it stays longer. So just consider those sensations like some fishes. There are fish in an ocean that we let go. We let them free. And ask yourself the question, are you these energies in your body? Are you this contraction, this knot, this tightness somewhere? Are you this sensation, or are you that which is aware of it? This sensation wasn't here like 10 minutes ago. It will go away soon. Comes and goes. Just check. Am I this cluster of energy, or am I that which perceives them and that in which they appear? So I think for many of us, the answer will be that I'm not that, I'm that which perceives. So now the only choice we have is to either go along with what we are not, go along with them, being busy with them, trying to get rid of them, or to go back to what we really are, this presence, which hears these words right now and is aware of sensations. So at this point, I would like everyone to zoom out from whatever is in the body. Don't focus into any sensation anymore. Zoom out like in Google Maps. And go back to what we really are. This is the totality of the now. Open the attention and tune into this sense of I am. Notice the sounds. There are many things in the now. Stay as the now. Just being aware. No past, no future, no thinking necessary. Notice, if you can, this background of space, background of aware silence, this empty fullness. It's the screen in which all those images and feelings floated through. Just notice it now empty. If there's any residual unpleasantness in your body, just surrender it to the emptiness. Surrender it to the presence. Don't worry about it. It will go away soon enough. Just be. No past, no future, no thinking necessary. Just knowing.